What's up, guys? Welcome back. The Super Bowl is later this week and I have just a recipe to take your party to the next level. I'll be showing you how to make these delicious meatball sliders. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen. First things first, we're gonna get started on our meatball prep. For that, we're gonna need some parsley. I'm gonna dice this up nice and fine. We need about a quarter cup of parsley in total. No right or wrong way to do this, guys. Just break out a nice sharp knife and dice it nice and fine like you see right here. Next, we're gonna break out the box grater and grate ourselves one onion. You could dice this real small if you want to too, but I really enjoy using the box grater. I just feel like the onions kind of just dissolve into the meatballs and it's super delicious. I'm personally not a big fan of big chunks of onion in my meatballs, so I like this method. And now it's time to make some meatballs. In a mixing bowl, I have 1 pound of ground pork and 1 pound of lean ground beef. If you don't eat pork, guys, you could just use all beef. If you're not eating pork or beef, you can make this recipe with turkey or chicken as well. Shout out to the Pork Patrol. I'm gonna get in there with my hands and mix to combine in a large mixing bowl. Now, guys, I know I say a lot of things are delicious on this channel, but I promise you I'll put these meatballs up against any meatballs on the planet. Now we're going in with 1 block or 5.2 ounces of Boursin garlic and herbs, followed by the parsley and the onion from earlier. I'm also gonna add 1 to 2 teaspoons of garlic paste. You can use fresh garlic or minced garlic also. Next, we're going in with 1 tablespoon of sour cream. That's gonna help these stay nice and moist. And then I'm gonna season them up with my all-purpose seasoning and my hot all-purpose seasoning, but feel free to use whatever your favorite all-purpose seasoning is that you use at your house, or you can put together a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, cayenne pepper. I'm also going in with some oregano here. Tons of flavor packed into these meatballs. Next, we're going in with some smoked paprika. Quick reminder, guys, that all the specific measurements and ingredients are found in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. Now we want to get in there with our hands and mix to combine all those delicious ingredients. You want to get in there and make sure everything is thoroughly combined. Once you have it right where you want it, we're gonna add in 2 beaten eggs. The eggs are gonna act as a binder for these meatballs and really hold everything together. So just get in there with your hands and work those eggs into the meatball mixture. This recipe is fantastic, guys. I make extra every time I make them, so I can have some for a snack or meal prep. You really can't go wrong with this meatball recipe. Now it's time to start adding in some breadcrumbs. That's gonna bind things together as well. And use whatever flavored breadcrumbs you like. Italian, Parmesan, plain, any of those will work just fine for this recipe. One thing to keep in mind though, guys, is you don't necessarily wanna dump all the breadcrumbs right into the mixing bowl right off the bat. You wanna add them a little bit at a time, mixing as you go, like you see right here. And once everything has come together nicely, we're gonna pop this into the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes to let it chill out a little bit. And while our meatball mixture is chilling in the fridge, we're gonna start on our garlic butter. So we have 1 stick of melted butter, some parsley, some garlic paste, some red pepper flakes, a little oregano as well. And of course, we got to hit it with a little all-purpose seasoning or just hit it with some salt and pepper. That'll work also. We're going to mix all this together, and this is what's going to go on top of our bread while we pop that into the oven and make basically like a garlic bread meatball slider situation. Super delicious, guys. Can't wait for you guys to try this recipe. Now it's time to go ahead and start preparing our meatballs. I'm using this small ice cream scooper here, but in hindsight, guys, the meatballs ended up being a little bit too big for my slider rolls, but no big deal. If yours come out a little too large, just break them in half like I do eventually here in this video. But the important thing here is to make sure all the meatballs are about the same size. That way they cook at the same rate in the oven. You don't want to have one large meatball that takes a longer time to cook than the smaller one. So just try to make sure they're as even as possible. As you can see, we have our meatballs lined up nicely on an aluminum foil lined baking sheet. Our oven's preheated to 400 degrees. We're going to hit them with a little bit more seasoning and they're going in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. While we wait on those meatballs to cook, we're going to go ahead and grate up some mozzarella cheese. You can use whatever cheese you like for this recipe, but mozzarella works beautifully with this. And now we have our dinner rolls or Hawaiian Sweet Rolls. Whatever you decide to use, you want the slider size like these. And now we're just gonna take a serrated knife and cut around the top, basically making a nice little hole for our meatballs and cheese and marinara to rest in. I'm not exactly sure who came up with this technique, but shout out to them. This is definitely a genius way to make meatball sliders. And for the excess bread that we're removing from the rolls, if you don't want to be wasteful, you can save that bread and make bread pudding. You can make bread crumbs. You can make croutons for salads. Tons of different ways you can use that bread. And now that we have all of our sliders hollowed out, like you see right here, we're gonna brush that delicious garlic butter right on top and pop them into the oven for about 5 to 8 minutes or until they start getting nice and golden brown and start to firm up a little bit. So just take yourself a spoon or one of these brushes and brush each and every one of them evenly. Just make sure they're coated nicely in all that flavor. And then those are going to 400-degree oven. Let's check on those meatballs, see how they're doing. As you can see, they're a little bit too big for the holes that we developed in the sliders, but I'll show you guys how to fix that here in just a second. But first, we need to prep our marinara sauce. So in a frying pan over medium heat, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. To that, we're gonna add 3 to 4 crushed garlic cloves. And right now, we're just infusing that olive oil with all that garlic flavor. That's gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes on medium, maybe even medium-low heat. You don't want to burn the garlic, you just want to toast it. So if you see it starting to change color or get too dark, you know that it's time to go ahead and add your other ingredients. And speaking of other ingredients, we're going in with some red pepper flakes and some oregano. Dried or fresh will work fine here. Next, we're going in with 1 jar of marinara sauce, or you can use a can of crushed tomatoes if you want to make this completely from scratch. But hey guys, it's Super Bowl Sunday. We're trying to take a couple shortcuts here to speed things up. We're going to add a little bit of seasoning to the party, a little salt and pepper, or my AP seasoning, whatever you got is fine. Some Italian seasoning will jazz this up a little bit too. I'm also gonna go in with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese, just to add a little bit more cheese to the party, because why the hell not? Give that a mix, working over medium heat here. We just wanna warm this through. This is gonna make a great dipping sauce, and we're gonna add a little bit to the top of our rolls as well. Oh man, that looks good. Now that, my friends, is how you doctor up some store-bought sauce and take the flavor to the next level. Once our sauce is done, it's time to build these slider rolls. Let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to win the Super Bowl. Let me know in the comments what other recipes you want to see from me. Please take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. And now, my friends, it's time to build some sliders. So first things first, we're going to add some mozzarella cheese right into those holes that we created in our slider rolls. You just want to push that down to the bottom. That way you got some nice cheese packed in there, because cheese is delicious and it's Super Bowl Sunday. Diet starts Monday. Well, Monday's Valentine's Day, so diet starts Tuesday this week. We're gonna add the marinara sauce right on top of the mozzarella cheese, and then yes, you guessed it, those meatballs are going right on top of that. And of course, we're gonna hit that with more cheese. As you can see, I kind of broke my meatballs in half, that way they could fit, or you can make them a little bit smaller when they go into the oven. I thought they would shrink up a little bit more as they cooked, and I was wrong, but no worries, they still came out fantastic, and really you don't even notice that they're broken in half when you go to eat them. So now we're gonna hit each meatball with just a little bit more of that marinara, and then we're going down with some shredded mozzarella cheese. This is going in that 400-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, or until the cheese is melted beautifully like so. And you know we gotta hit it with a little fresh chopped parsley for a pop of color, and so you guys will click on that thumbnail. It's all about presentation, guys. Remember, you eat with your eyes first. A little fresh grated Parmesan cheese as well. Oh man, I can't wait to dig in there for a taste test. Brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. Going in for the taste test. I cannot wait to dig in here. Dunk that right into the marinara. Moment of truth. Got a little cheese pull. These are money, guys. Give this recipe a try. Make sure you give your boy a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and the bell to enable notifications. And as always, thank you for your support.